What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to be diving into an important aspect of personal training or coaching development in general, and that is client assessment and goal setting. Whether you are a personal trainer, a coach, a therapist, or someone that's just into personal growth, understanding how to assess your clients and set effective goals is crucial. So in this video we're going to go step by step into the process of doing client assessments and then setting up and establishing goals that will be meaningful and establishing goals that lead to meaningful progress.
You can say hello, but I don't need you to wait.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel with all your personal training needs and some exercise fitness wants here and there, so we'll toss those in as well. Before I get into the first aspect of client assessment, first I just need to say, obviously we are just getting this channel going. We keep getting more growth. I do appreciate all the support, and then I'm just gonna keep at this until who knows what happens. But also there has been a lot of people that would reach out to me personally for questions or any sort of insight for them as far as getting into personal training and extending their career or getting into the field. And so I do appreciate that as well. So keep those coming. I'm available for all of that. Of course, if you are new here, please hit the like button, subscribe, let your friends know about me. And if you are returning, obviously welcome back. Like I said, this video is going to be about client assessment and goal setting. Obviously this is a crucial part of personal training because in order to establish value, we need to establish what value we are going to provide a client. And a lot of that is going to be based off progress that they obviously will see or feel. So we need to establish where they are at and then the steps that we are going to take in order to get to whatever sort of end result that we are looking for. All right, so let's talk about client assessment. Before we can help our clients make any sort of progress, we need to understand exactly where they are starting from. Any sort of assessment is going to provide us insights on any strength, weaknesses, areas of improvements, things that we want to focus on initially, and it will help us create a roadmap to tailor whatever sort of program to achieve said goals that we will establish. One of the first steps in a client assessment is just getting some general background information on the client. This can include just like their general background, personal stuff, their background with exercise, have they done personal training, what things that they like about personal training, do they have any injuries, do they have any sort of barriers, anything that's physical or even mental, social even, that are barriers in achieving said goal. Because in this phase, when you are asking someone about some of the barriers and some of the challenges that they will face, if they open up to you and are actually going to reveal those things to you, you are automatically going to create rapport with that client where they feel comfortable letting you know some of the challenges they face and hopefully trusting you to actually help them through that. The more information we have about our client, the more we can establish where we can provide value. Gather things like personal history, experiences, challenges, and we dive very, very deep into it. We can get into exercise training background, preferences, dislikes, any sort of injuries, etc. All right, the next step is identifying the client's expectations or objectives. Part of this is why I'll ask people if they've done personal training before, because if they say yes, chances are they have this expectation of what personal training is going to be like, whether through their own experience, good or bad, probably something to actually take into consideration. If they have not done personal training before, then they might not even know what to expect. And therefore, I'm able to kind of even more tailor it to their experience, to their needs. And then of course, like asking what they are trying to get out of this, like do they have any specific objectives that they're trying to reach? Like what do they specifically want from me? Because part of it will just be me providing a framework and a program to reach their goals. The more specific they are with their objectives, what they're trying to get out of it, the more I know how much I need to put in or set up for them. And that way, whatever sort of vision they have for their goals, their objectives, I'm able to create and tailor whatever sort of program to that need. After that, then we have step 3, which we are going to establish some of their strength and some of their weaknesses. So this is not a video as far as like measuring their physical strength, like, oh, we're gonna do 1 rep maxes. Like, no, I'm not talking about that at all. That's probably gonna be a different video because I have thoughts on strength and fitness assessments in general. What we are specifically talking about, more the personal assessments of them. So some of the strength and some of the weaknesses I'll ask people is like, okay, how self-sufficient are you? What kind of person are you? What motivates you? It's those kind of questions that I want to know. Like, do you need me there every single training session in order to actually get a workout in? Or are you pretty self-sufficient that if I were to give you some sort of workout, some sort of program, and have an occasional session to make sure things are going according to plan, that you are going to stay consistent with it? It is those type of strength or those weaknesses that we're trying to establish. But again, some of this will come down to some of the earlier questions, like I'm asking what are some of the challenges, some of the barriers that they face in their own life. Part of that is behavioral things, and we can establish whether those are strengths and weaknesses later, but knowing more will allow us to create some sort of specified and individualized program for them. And whatever sort of strengths that we have that the client has, I know how we can leverage that to use it to our advantage to be as consistent and effective as possible. And then with any sort of weaknesses that might come up, then we know what roadblocks, what sort of hurdles might come our way. And then that way we're a little bit more prepared to obviously get through them. All right, so once you've done like a general assessment as far as gathering all the information about said client, understanding what their expectations and objectives are, and then understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are, then we get into goal setting. I don't want to get too much into the whole SMART goals because this is what people tend to know, but I'll go through it real briefly. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. This is just providing a framework to establishing what we can classify as a goal, but I don't get too caught up on this. This helps. I'm not gonna say it doesn't help, but mine goes a little bit deeper, so we're gonna get into that. As a personal trainer, one of the biggest barriers that you will face is a lot of times clients will be so fixed on the long-term, the objective, the reason why they are coming to you for anything in the first place, outcome goal, if you will, and they get so fixed on that. It is good to have a long-term goal, an outlook, but it shouldn't be the end-all be-all thing. There should be short-term goals set in place that lead towards the long-term goal. These are what we call process goals. You have your outcome goal, which is obviously the end result, and then you have the process goals, which are the almost little wins that you set up to achieve the long-term goal. And one of the other things we can do as far as setting up a goal or having the entire structure of our goal setting set in place is on the motivational side. Now, a lot of people get motivated by different things, but we know that we have intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. Extrinsic motivators are basically outside things. External motivators are outside things. They can be things like new workout clothes. They can be like sort of trip. They can be, you know, maybe you're preparing for some sort of like event, like whatever it is. Like, and not to say that those are bad. Those are very meaningful. But if we try to create an atmosphere where we are focused on intrinsic motivation, these are motivating factors that are basically more internalized. These are core value, any sort of drivers that have a little bit more of an internal meaning behind them. Once you have set goals in place where we have a long-term outcome goal, which can follow the SMART goal sequence, then you have your short-term, your process goals. These are the almost like little tiny wins that you set up in order to get towards the outcome goal. And we're trying to create an atmosphere where we have this intrinsic motivation, where we are being driven by our core values, by our internal meaning behind why we are doing this. Once we have those in place, we need to obviously monitor them and check if they are actually being achieved or not, because we need to be able to monitor them, and then we are able to adjust them if obviously anything could possibly happen. So some of these process goals might need to change. Maybe our outcome goal shifts a little bit, like who knows? One of the ways we can do this is by just having regular progress check-ins, where we basically can obviously have sessions, those training sessions with clients where we're more or less just kind of going over these goals, like where they're at, what progress have we made, etc. That way we know that we're still aiming at the same thing and we are getting closer and closer to achieving those goals. With these goals set in place, it is important with clients is that we are able to adjust them. So don't set them in place and just like solidify them. You need to be able to adjust them as needed, so they need to be flexible. The other thing you need to do, which is why you set up these process goals in the first place, is that you need to have these little wins that you can celebrate. If I were to go back to the outcome goal, people get so fixated on the outcome goal, the end result, whatever sort of like long-term objective they have, and anything not in line with that becomes discouraging for people. And then people tend to fall off, people tend to quit, those kind of things. But if we have little tiny objectives as far as like, oh, we work on this and we're gonna get to that way we can get to this thing, that creates that long-term aspect of it where we know that we have steps and steps in order to, achieve our goals. And we need to celebrate those, because obviously celebrating wins is one of the best feelings. One of the most motivating aspects is to have those wins. In essence, basically as a personal trainer, obviously we need to assess our client, and then we need to essentially create goals for them in order to provide the most effective individualized program for them to achieve those goals. Again, this video wasn't going to go in depth as far as doing any sort of fitness assessments or anything like that. Maybe there might be another video where we're talking about what fitness assessments you can do. This video was mostly trying to break down exactly what we're trying to get out of assessments and how we're going to use the information from the assessments in order to create the goals, and then therefore how the goals are going to create our program. And this is a crucial part of the coaching experience. It's not just knowing how to work out and being able to get a good workout in. No, like we actually have things set up in place so that there's a structure, a systematic approach to this whole entire thing. You're not just someone that works out. A personal trainer, a coach, is someone that can create that systematic approach to achieving someone's goal. And that is what will set you apart from all the other people. If you are good at this, being able to assess people and know exactly how to structure whatever sort of program, not even like personal training stuff, like in life, any sort of personal growth, then you will be successful. Anyway, that's all for this video. Again, please hit the like button, subscribe, let your friends know about me, and of course, until next time.